Dear friends, dear colleagues, good morning. I was supposed to be there with you in Washington, D.C., but unfortunately I have to stay here in New York. As you know, the General Assembly is holding a session in relation with the Russian invasion of the Ukraine. Here in New York, the priority is now to defend the Charter, to finish with this war, to go back to the diplomatic solution of the problem, to have the Secretary General at the front of this diplomatic effort. And this is what we are trying to do. And this is why I'm not with you there in Washington, D.C. But let me share with you some ideas about our new common agenda, our new agenda for the United Nations. It is essential. It has to do with everything that we have been doing in the last 3 to 4 years, before even the COVID started and the pandemic stopped everything and we were confined in our offices and our houses. The new common agenda tries to build a better future for all of us. It tries to draft a common program for the whole of humanity. And this is essential in a moment where the crisis, the pandemic, reinforces all those nationalistic tendencies, all those inward-looking visions that we are at this moment witnessing around the world. It is very important because the main problems of humanity are common, and the solution can only come from a multilateral effort, from the coordination, the common thinking of how to tackle these global problems in a collective and multilateral way. This is why it's essential to start the discussion, not to stop now because of this new immense threat to war. It is another example of why we have to continue. The new common agenda, as you know, it's built on pillars. The Secretary General is calling for a new social contract. And I think, and in Spain we think, this is an essential point. One of the problems that we have been carried on since the Great Recession in 2007-2008 is that inequality has increased enormously. And our national governments and our international governance have not been there to try to cope with this problem. It has increased, and we have now to tackle this problem to avoid the decomposition of the social consensus that has been built for the last 20, 30 years on the idea that we will be able to share with our children and grandchildren a better future for the world. We need a new trust. We need a new social contract for all of us. A social contract built on the base that we are citizens, democratic citizens, that exercise our rights, and that we have the social material conditions that allowed us to practice democracy as citizens. This is the essential question about how we extend democracy, which is the most effective system of government, to the whole of the world. The second essential pillar, it's obviously the fight against climate change. Because if we don't succeed in this fight, if we don't keep the rise of temperatures on the 1.5 centigrade degrees, we're going to toast. And this is not a joke. We are going to toast, then the world will become totally uncontrollable. We will have famines, as in the 17th century. We will have the crisis of the states. We will have more wars, more conflicts, uncontrolled movements of populations, and the fight for the very, very scarce resources in many areas of the world. It is essential that now that we still are on time, that we act together, that we applied multilateralism, that we applied our best systems of organization and decision taking to face and tackle this very, very urgent problem to all of humanity. To do this, we need the best weapons that we have. And in the terms of governance, it is digitalization that can offer us a way out. We need to increase productivity in the whole of the economy, but specifically in the service sector, where our productivity increases have been tremendously slow in the last 20 years. We have now the chance to apply digitalization in a massive way. And to do that, we need cybersecurity. We need to extend the economy of algorithms that will really help us to increase productivity in the whole of our economies. And we need to offer the access to this digitalization to the whole of the population. We cannot really have a new divide between those who have access to internet and digitalization and those who are condemned to not have it, and then to poverty and a future limited to the analogical world. And we have really to continue working on the essential elements that build the Agenda 2030. If we are not able to increase our vaccination rates, what hope do we have for a new period of economical welfare for everybody? If we are not really able to increase our capacity of sharing with everybody and to avoid that the debt problem becomes a problem of failing states and bankruptcies, and we are now adding to the list one new country that fails every 3 months, and we have the examples in Sahel, we have the examples in Latin America, we have the examples in Southern Africa and in Indonesia. We are going to have an uncontrollable problem for the world governance and for peace and security. But first things first, let us start by solving all together the Ukrainian war. If we are not able to solve this, we are not going to have a multilateral system trusted by everybody. We are not going to have the possibility of going forward in a new social contract and all the rest of everything that contains the proposal of the Secretary General. So again, my apologies, but I'm sure you understand why we are here in New York, why we are trying really to stop this war and to find a diplomatic peace, a diplomatic way to have the controversies on top, which obviously they are there, and we have security problems that come from very long in Europe. But we have the means to resolve this. If we keep together, if we stop the war, if we give hope and a chance to the peace. Thank you very much, and sorry again not being there with you.